All right, so when I was first learning to paint, portraits were the end all be all. That's all I wanted to work on. That's all I had any interest in doing. And when it came to the clothing, that's where I really started to struggle. And so I want to walk you through my approach to clothing now and how you can still make good looking clothing without relying so heavily on detail. So as an example, I'm going to be using the sketch I did of Captain Clark from Backrooms. So depending on your workflow or what project you might be working on, you might break things down into 3 different stages of detail. Those being primary detail, secondary detail, and tertiary detail. Now, primary detail, that's going to be like our foundation. That's just smashing a couple shapes together, and we're looking at the silhouette. And then with secondary detail, that's where you start to carve out the shapes within that silhouette. You start to see things coming together, and you're hopefully being able to make out what it is. And then lastly, the tertiary details. This is going to be like your wrinkles, pores, eyelashes, flyaway hairs, whatever it may be. It's like the very fine detail. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to completely do away with the tertiary stage. It does not exist. We're not going to be focusing on it really at all. We might have like a couple little pops of detail here and there, but we're just going to be focusing on the first 2 stages. And for this video, we're going to change those names because primary and secondary is just kind of boring. So we're going to be calling it the silhouette and the shapes within. Just very literal. And so looking at a reference of Captain Clark, we're looking at exactly that. We're just looking at the basic shapes that make up the silhouette. And then we're looking at kind of like the hero shapes within that silhouette, seeing like the major folds and the major wrinkles, and we're not really looking at any of the fine detail. So hopping into Photoshop, we're going to start sketching out our old friend Captain Clark. And for this video, I'm not going to be explaining every little thing I'm doing. I really want to just kind of focus on the clothing. And what I will say is I do spend a good amount of time on his face, because I still couldn't get away from trying to make it look like him. Even though the focus is on the clothing, yes, I know, I still was like, well, I need to get it somewhat close. Just, it's like a bug in my brain. I still needed to do that. In the drawing stage, I'm just looking to find some of these shapes. And then as I start blocking out color, you start to see the relationships between these shapes more and more. And you can see how one might influence the other. And then that's when we start cooking, right? So I know I mentioned it earlier, but detailing had become this thing that I just started to avoid because I just felt myself spending way too much time. Like unproductive time, like almost just working myself into a hole, and I couldn't get out. And it's not exclusive to just clothing. I mean, I think the same can be said for hair, or for like plant matter, or for, I mean, really anything. I mean, I think as an artist, you look at the world around you and you see detail. I'm not going to say you see detail differently than people who don't make art, but you notice it. And I think when I was younger, I really wanted to like be able to, finish a painting and have it be so crazy detailed and so lifelike and so realistic, and it felt kind of like a feather in my cap. And that's totally fine. Like if that's a painter you want to be, that's great. Not trying to knock painters who are incredibly lifelike like that. If that's your bag, take it and run. But I wasn't feeling satisfied. Like I started to almost have feelings of like, why don't I just take a photo of it? Like, okay, I want to paint someone's hands. Why don't I just take a photo of the hands? Like, why do I need to get their fingerprints in the paint? I don't need to do that. And I really wanted to start focusing more on like the composition. Like that felt like something that was really important to me, and the emotion in the painting, like that's what I was searching for. And for some reason, like when I was detailing things, I didn't feel anything looking at it. Like it felt like it was just lacking any sort of personality. With this being said, like, it's not a hard rule. It's like, it can be broken. And there's times that I think should be broken. Like, I think it's, like there are times I will kind of dip my toes into detailing things a bit more. But I think having like a sort of a standard is important. So something else I'd like to talk about is the topic of cohesion in a painting. So to me, if the portrait I'm working on is loose or maybe a little more abstract, I ask myself, like, why would I then go in and detail every little thing in the clothing or the hair if I'm not going to be putting the same work into the face? Like if I'm not painting every little pore or eyelash, or like the crow's feet, like why would I put that same work into the clothing? And you could tell it's cotton. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I think like the inverse maybe makes a little more sense, and that kind of also gets into like a compositional thing where you want your focal points to pop, right? But if there's nothing really popping in the face, then why would you want like the cuff on a jacket to really pop? Like I don't know. I think like all these things kind of go hand in hand with one another. So I aim for a cohesive finished product. And that's my goal. So when it comes down to it, you can be as detailed or as abstract as you want, but what I'm really trying to illustrate in this video is what's important is building the foundation before you get to that last stage. And so like with the clothing I have here of Captain Clark, I could take it that next step further if I wanted to, but it could also just stand as it is and still be a killer looking painting. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing. Join me over on Patreon. If you enjoy these sorts of videos, I'll be releasing more digital paintings, oil paintings, motion graphics, etc. Bye-bye.